Good morning, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to our regular meeting of the Madera County Board of Supervisors. Today is Tuesday, May 14th, 2024. Are there any additions to the agenda?
Chairman, there is a request for one addition to the agenda. It's a letter of opposition to $300 million of cuts to the public health budget as proposed in the governor's May revise. This came to our attention yesterday afternoon, and apparently the hearing could be begin as early as tomorrow on this. So it was brought forward by public health for your consideration.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions? Otherwise, I'll accept a motion to either add or not add to the.
Move to add.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Wamha,
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley,
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers.
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez is absent. Chairman Poitras.
Yes,
Vote passes 4-0.
thank you. Council, would you read in the closed session items?
Yes, Chair, members of the board, there are 3 items for your closed session today. The first is under Government Code Section 54957.6. You have a conference with your labor negotiators, and the agency designated representative are Assistant County Administrative Officer Joel Begay, Susan Carter, and Sabrina Mendez from the HR department. The employee organization is all units and unrepresented employees, including all classifications but not elected officials. Under Government Code Section 54956.9, there's a request that you go into closed session to decide whether to initiate litigation. Under subdivision, paragraph 4 of subdivision D of that Government Code section, and it's one case. The last is an existing litigation matter under Government Code Section 54956.9 subsection D1, and the name of the case is Valley Groundwater Coalition versus the County of Madera, Madera County Superior Court Case 087677. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Are there any members of the public who have questions regarding the closed session items? Hearing and seeing none, we will move into closed session. Regular meeting of the Madera County Board of Supervisors. Today is Tuesday, May 14th.
She's here again.
Council, is there any reportable action at a closed session?
Chair, there is no reportable action from closed session. However, there may be a need to go back and continue a discussion on one of your items. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. We'll move on now to opening and closing the meeting in memory of. Are there any individuals that a colleague would like to remember at this time? Okay, when he comes back. Okay. All right, let's move on to the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. We have Scott Dixon from Madera Avenue Bible Church.
Good morning, everybody. Let's pray. Father, thank you for the opportunity to gather, to lift the concerns of the county, Father, into your hands, Father. I pray that you would guide those that are in charge, Father, of making these decisions. I pray that you would open their minds and their hearts, Lord, and that you would lead them in a way that would be beneficial, Father, to those concerned. We thank you for providing for us every day. We thank you for this wonderful place that you've given us to live. And we ask that we would take good care of it so we could honor you with our lives. In Jesus' name, amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which nation, God, indivisible, liberty.
Supervisor Rogers, we had the opening and closing of memory of, but I believe that maybe you have somebody you'd like to remember.
Yeah, I'm sorry I wasn't in here for that, but Cole Upton was an outstanding member of our community, highly intelligent man. A lot of people don't know he was a graduate of engineering from Stanford University, and he'd been involved in water issues in the valley his whole life, and crafted much of the water policy that shaped our water districts and kept our dam in place and various other things. And he was very, very gregarious, had a highly intelligent sense of wit. He was very funny guy. And when I think of him, that's what I think of, his sense of humor. Yeah, he had this really great sense of humor. Tracy, he did. He was just a very special person, and he super supportive. He's been my friend for 30 years, and I'm gonna miss him a lot because we talk at least once a week. And I'll miss those conversations and the wisdom that comes from it, and much of his input into myself as a person involved water policy and politics, and he was just super great at being a part of that. Really appreciated him a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to public comment. The first 15 minutes of each regular session are set aside for members of the public to address the board on any matter under the jurisdiction of the board, but not appearing on the agenda. The board will not take action on any items presented under public comment. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Anyone addressing the board is asked to print their name clearly on the speaker sheet at the podium and state their name and county of residence for the record. Is there anybody who'd like to provide a public comment? Yes, sir.
Good morning, supervisors. My name is Dennis Hart. You've seen me before. I promise this will be short. Madera County Historical Society, and I live in Madera County. What you have in front of you is our latest look report at what is in our research library, the very up to the moment look at this library that we have in the Madera County Museum across the street. We have more than 1,000 books, files on 500 Madera County people, 300 places and events, more than about 100 schools. This is all open to the public. It's part of our research library. Just give us a call. This is for your office. If anybody calls you and says, where can I get information about this stuff? Well, you can look it up and say, call the Historical Society, call the museum. We'll be there. This is not a public library. We make it by appointment only because a lot of the stuff we have is like 120 years old or more. Not quite as old as I am, some of it, but it's old. So that's the latest that we have here for your office. Also inside is a brochure reminding all of us, a little piece of paper, that our 50th anniversary of the Historical Society is coming up on September 28th, a Saturday afternoon during this Old Timers Day. It is exactly 50 years to the day when the museum opened up in 1974. We have a lot of things that people can see, and we would love to have you there on the anniversary date on that Saturday. On the back of this sheet, this is a presentation that I made, about a month ago to one of the Rotary clubs, the big four in the history of our Historical Society and the museum. The four people who had such a great impact on getting us going 50 years ago in the museum and 70 years ago with the Historical Society. I've talked about some of them here in my past appearances. I call this my power page. I don't do PowerPoint. When I went to the Rotary Club, I ad-libbed 30 minutes on this back page. But they gave me breakfast, so it was okay. One more thing. We are closed right now, as some of you may know, because we have a water problem. We had a water leak in the basement. It's going to be fixed. So we had to close our basement down. It gave us the opportunity to look and see what we actually had there and get rid of some stuff. But it's going to be fixed. And whether it's fixed or not, we're going to be open on the 50th anniversary. There may be some adjustments we have to make, but we're pretty confident it's going to be fixed with your help and with the county's help. As you know, you own the courthouse and the water will get fixed. Thank you so very much for allowing me to speak every few minutes, or every few minutes, every few weeks here. The next time I'm here, it's going to be with our anniversary book that we're putting together. It'll be in August, and it will be the complete history of the museum, the Historical Society, and the county. We're putting it together now. We're going to pass it out to you and to the libraries and all of this so that people know that we're still alive here. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dennis. Great report, and thank you for everybody's hard work at the museum.
Hi, good morning. This is Jacqueline Torres Herrera, your Assistant Treasurer Tax Collector. Just wanted to provide you guys an update. This weekend, we launched our annual defaulted tax sale that started at 8 a.m. on Saturday. It is expected to close by noon today. This year, we had 10 parcels listed for sale. Currently, 9 of those 10 have bids. And remember, the annual defaulted tax sale is for properties that have been defaulted with unpaid property taxes since 2018. So our staff over the last 4 years has been doing everything we can to reach out, send notices, and help these constituents redeem their properties and bring them current to get them off the tax sale. We did start with over 120 properties and ended up with only 10 on the tax sale. So there was great progress made by staff there. And currently, as of this morning, we have a total of 360 bids on those 10 properties. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
I want to compliment Tracy's staff too. Just super friendly. When you go into that office, I really appreciate everybody in there. Thank you.
Is there any other public comment? Anybody in the in-house? Anybody online?
No comments online.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Maybe no comments, but many thoughts. Okay. So let's move on to the consent calendar. Are there any items that a colleague of mine would like to have pulled for further discussion, elaboration, etc.? Seeing and hearing none, are there any members of the public that have any questions regarding a consent calendar item?
Move to
Again,
approve.
okay, we have a motion.
Mr. Chairman, before I do, since we didn't pull any of the sheriff's items, I would like to note that they all wore ties, exception of a couple of them. So I don't know if that was due to the Peace Officer Memorial that's coming up, or they just really wanted to wear a tie in the boardroom. But I want to note that before.
You're right. It was 60% tie rate. Yeah. There you go. Good observation. And did I hear a second?
And I'll second.
Okay, very good. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Rogers.
Yes.
Supervisor Wampa.
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley.
Yes.
Chairman Poitras.
Yes.
Vote passes 4-0.
Thank you. And I'd like to mention before we start our discussion items that there is the Peace Officers Memorial Service today, and that starts at noon. And so if we are still moving along in the Board of Supervisor agenda, we will be stopping the agenda, halting our meeting at around 11:40 so that we can attend, and then we will announce the time that we'll be picking it back up later on this afternoon. So let's move on to discussion items. And the first item is a proclamation recognizing the week/month of May 2024 as Older Americans Month.
Am I in that category?
It's up to you. Hi there.
Older Americans.
Hello.
Push the button on.
The one that says push, I got it. Good morning. My name is Hillary Bennett. I'm the program director over the Fresno Madera Area Agency on Aging. I'm here on behalf of our executive director, Jamie Sharma. And we would like to thank the Madera County Board of Supervisors. Thank you, Supervisor McCauley, for being on our governing board as well. In recognizing Older Americans Month for the month of May. We are honored to be here in partnership with Susanna Rodriguez, the Director of Programs at Valley Caregiver Resource Center. Just a little bit about us at the Fresno Madera Area Agency on Aging. We are one of 33 AAAs in the state of California. We started in 1980, and we're committed to empowering older adults to make informed decisions and sound choices and increase independence and ensure quality of life through connection to resources. We maintain the ability of older adults to live independently for as long as possible, address the basic needs and rights of older adults who are the most frail and vulnerable, to promote aging with dignity and ensure a safe living environment. We also develop community-based systems of care and provide services which support independence within California's interdependent society and protect the quality of life of older persons and persons with functional impairment. However, none of these things would be possible without the amazing people that are dedicated to supporting our older adults. Our case managers, our care providers, our social workers, and our nurses, for we believe that it is people, not programs, that make FMAAA thrive. Currently at FMAAA, we offer home delivered meals and programs to 18 congregate sites to educate on senior nutrition and provide nutrition meals in home and at our senior sites. We also have the multi-purpose senior services program and linkages programs that strive to protect and support older adults with in-home care to avoid displacement into skilled nursing facilities and residential care facilities. Along with our devoted partnership with Central California Legal Services that provide free legal support to older adults, and also our partnership with Valley Caregiver Resource Center, who provide a multifaceted approach for older adult communities. As the theme of 2024 Older Americans Month is powered by connections, we are a firm believer in supporting the whole person. Similar to Maslow's hierarchy of motivational theory, we as willing and able-bodied persons must support the basic physiological and safety needs for older adults that will provide an unbreakable trust and support. Without judgment and without stereotypes, with unapologetic love, anything is possible. Thank you, Madera County Board of Supervisors, for proclaiming May as Older Americans Month.
Very good. Thank you. We have Susanna.
Good morning. It is an honor to be here with Hillary and the Fresno Area Agency on Aging, as well as the Executive Director and all the team. And thank you, supervisors, for your recognition. The seniors in our community are noticed, matter, and are cared for. And this recognition means the most to those, not just that are vulnerable, but are thriving, as you've just. So thank you for this day and every day that we proclaim Older American Month. I just became 50 and proud to be an ARP member. And thinking of just those that residents in Madera County that are thankful for your leadership. We are very thankful. On behalf of my executive director, Michelle DeBudio, I would like to just share a couple just words here in how we and your partnership support Area Agency on Aging, our residents of Madera. Again, I'm Susana Rodriguez, the Director of Programs for Valley Caregiver Resource Center, and would like to thank our supervisor and chairman for sponsoring today's proclamation, as well as all of our Board of Supervisors. We're very fortunate to celebrate the Older American Month with you this year, as we've heard, powered by connection. Not only during the pandemic was there much isolation, we continue to have in some of our remote areas isolation among older adults, which here underscores the importance of fostering meaningful connections, relationships with older adults. So many experience loneliness with a negative impact on physical and mental well-being. The age group with the highest suicide rate in California is those over 65. Should be thriving. And this just, it saddens. We don't hear about it. We don't talk about it. We, along with our friends here, are committed to supporting older adults in each of our 4 main programs with Valley Caregiver Resource Center. We have Oasis Adult Day program that supports those living with Alzheimer's or other dementias, and an adult day program Monday through Friday. And we have many, not only from Fresno, but Madera County, that find this to be a resource, respite, support for thriving for our loved ones who have dementia. They gain friendships and enjoy the activities, social activities during the programming. And here we know that it helps with the isolation and support for the family caregivers. We also do have Fresno Madera Long-Term Care Ombudsman advocating for those that are in the long-term care communities, which Madera also thinking about our residents in long-term care. So we have residents in communities, also in long-term care. We don't want to forget our residents in our skilled nursing facilities, in our assisted living that are here as well. We are to advocate for our residents in long-term care facilities, express their concerns and needs in the long-term care facilities. We have our caregiver resource program that supports the family caregiver in their journey as they're caregiving for a loved one over the age of 60 or with a brain impairment after the age of 18. Support services include counseling, education, short-term respite, legal consultations to help with the support as they're continuing care to avoid that crisis and burnout that we often see with our family members, and to avoid the burnout that is seen also for those that are caregiving, a number that are impacted when they're in a crisis. We do have one other program, HICAP, the Health Insurance Counseling Advocacy Program for our Medicare recipients, to make sure that they're informed of their benefits, if there's concerns about their Medicare appeals, hospital discharge, open enrollment for their medication. I know I'm going a little long, but I'm about to short. But these are important resources, and sometimes our community and anyone may be listening to what you shared, Hillary, and what we have. There may be someone online or here in the community that may still not know about these wonderful resources. That majority of these are free to our residents in not only in Madera County, but in the 9 counties that we serve in Valley Caregiver Resource Center. To conclude, all of us are here to work to foster a sense of belonging, to help older adults feel more connected, valued, supported in their communities. Building a sense of community can offer a protective factor against feeling of loneliness, depression, hopelessness, which are risk factors in suicide in older adults. This is why we are grateful for your recognition today and bringing awareness to this great generation that we should honor. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you so much, Susanna and Hillary. Supervisor, you serve on the FM.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do thank you for joining us today, Hillary, as well as the folks from Valley Caregivers. So thank you for coming. But I wanted to touch on one thing that you said, Hillary, and it's people, not programs, that make the difference. And I think that's part of the reason we've seen just a huge turnaround from FM AAA over the last year and a half or so. It's because of the staff there. So I just want to commend you and Jamie for all the work that you guys are doing to support our seniors. So thank you.
Can I add something? real
Sure.
quick?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is becoming more important to me as I get older. But relevance, what people struggle with, get older, and our society tends to discard people as they get older, and they want to feel relevant. And I've done a lot of visiting people, nursing homes, long-term care homes, and it's very important. I play the piano for them sometimes, and they remember songs that they request, and that music always sticks with us no matter how we could lose our mind, but music will still be there. But I was just thinking, how important it is to keep in contact with those that are older, and wisdom, and the things they offer are so great. You don't want to forget that, especially to our children. Sense of history and belonging, and that connection with that is so important. If it's missing from our kids' lives, you're going to lack the benefit as you get older, because we're all getting older. Everybody needs to understand that, and we need that connection. Wanted to bring up one thing to you in your advocacy, was that many of the long-term care facilities are in danger of closing their doors right now due to the state of California's lack of quick response to Medicare, Medi-Cal reimbursements. It is a serious issue. I know one of the facilities in Chowchilla is 1.5 million in arrears, and they cannot sustain that for very long. they're not even gonna be able to make their payroll by July if they don't do something. So state needs to step up and I would appreciate if maybe you make contact with my chief of staff, Matt Skolnick. Raise your hand, Matt. And we would partner with you on doing some advocacy. Thank you so much.
Okay, very good. With that, are there any members of the public who have comments regarding this agenda item? Seeing and hearing none, we have a proclamation, and I would play the David Bowie song, Old Americans, but he wrote a song called Young Americans, so we don't have the older American song. But let's go ahead and gather whoever would like to be in the picture and is supporting this. Of item 6B.
County Administration Department, 2023-2024 fiscal year budget cleanup. Discussion and consideration of approval of the receipt of unanticipated revenue number 23-124 in the amount of $450,860 derived from general fund balances to special payments professional and specialized services for fiscal year 2023-2024. 4 votes are required. Discussion and consideration of approval of a receipt of unanticipated revenue number 23-127 in the amount of $260,000 derived from general fund balances to county council professional and specialized services for fiscal year 2023-2024. 4 votes are required.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Jessica Leon, County Administration. So the item before you consists of 2 budget adjustments. The first for $450,860 to special payments, and the second for $260,000 to county council budget. I wanted to clarify the special payments budget adjustment states that a portion of that budget adjustment is for unanticipated cost of the SJVR ACC conference. However, when I looked at it a little bit deeper this morning, I realized that this unanticipated cost consists of both management workshop and the SJVRACC conference. So with that, also in the fiscal impact section, it states that $20,306 was received in reimbursements for the SJVRACC conference. However, the $20,306 is reimbursements between both management workshop and the SJVRACC conference. And also other unanticipated costs from special payments for the park environmental, that's the encampment cleanup throughout the county. The Madera Downtown Association, that's for abatement services for the county, and then the actual cost of contracted security services. So with that, I'm available for any questions that you might have.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions?
I'm just curious, Jessica, what's the total cost after reimbursements spent on the conferences, the 2 conferences?
So between the 2 conferences, majority of the SJVRACC conference was reimbursed. Just under $500 was cost to the county. And then for the management workshop, cost to special payments was just under $13,000.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Are there any members of the public who have questions regarding this item? Seeing and hearing none, we'll bring it back to the board for action.
Move to approve?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Wamha,
Yes.
Supervisor McCully,
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers.
Yes.
Chairman Poitras.
Yes,
Vote passes 4-0.
thank you. 6C,
County Administration Department, discussion and consideration to adopt a resolution appointing Regina A. Garza as Madera County Council effective May 14, 2024.
Good morning, Board and Chairman Jay Varney, County Administrative Officer. Gina Garza has served as our county council since July of 2015. He most recently renewed the contract with the firm that she serves, Lozano Smith, in December of 2022. The board is authorized to appoint a county council pursuant to Government Code Sections 27640 and 27641. And upon appointment, the county council shall serve for a 4-year term. So Ms. Garza has continued to serve between the expiration of the last term, and we're putting her forward today to have you discuss and consider adopting a resolution appointing Regina Garza as Madera County Council, effective May 14th through May 14th, 2028.
okay, very good. I expect a very robust discussion. Yes, are there any comments? Yes, Supervisor.
I just want to say that, the firm of Lozano Smith's been a good firm. But I want to let them know that the reason they're a good firm for us is Regina Garza. And she has been an awesome representative for this county as a county council, very loyal to this county and responsive, wise, good, always good counsel. And we just really are fortunate to have a person like you in this position. Thank you, Regina, for your service. Appreciate it.
Very good. Any other questions, comments, colleagues? If not, I will open it to the public. Or is there any public comment regarding this item? Seeing and hearing none, we'll bring it back to the board for action.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion in the second. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Rogers,
Yes.
Supervisor Wamha,
Yes.
Supervisor McCully,
Yes.
Chairman Poitras.
Yes,
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you.
thank you. I was going to say 4-0, but I'm sure, our colleague who's not here in her heart, she would have.
I apologize, 4-0.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Anthony Loza, County Administration, General Services, and Jorge Mendoza, Senior Project Manager. The item we have before your board today is a request to enter into an agreement with Buildings Unlimited in the amount of $777,000. In April 2024, staff issued RFP 2024-03R1 for construction services for courthouse park improvements. We received 4 bids and Building Unlimited was the lowest responsive bidder. In addition, we're asking for your board's approval of budget adjustment 23-133 in the amount of $220,000 from park impact fees to cover the remaining construction costs of the project. And now Jorge will give you a brief update on the project itself.
Good morning. Are you able to present?
Chairman, members of the board, I'll read this item into the record because I believe we started without that while they get it going. Oh, there it is. This is Courthouse Park Restoration Project. There's discussion and consideration of entering into an agreement with Todd D. Phillips, Inc., doing business as Building Unlimited, in the amount of $777,000 for construction services for the fiscal year 2023, 2024, and authorize the chairman to sign. There's also a discussion of a transfer of appropriations 23-133 in the amount of $220,000 from development impact fee parks, appropriations for contingency to operating transfers out capital projects for the fiscal year 2023-2024. 4 votes are required. And the last item is discussion and consideration of approval of the receipt of those revenues, 23-133 in the same amount of 220,000 derived from jail annex demolition and park restoration, and the operating transfers into buildings and improvements for this fiscal year. 4 votes required. Thank you.
Thank you. So here we have a slide showing kind of the expected areas that are going to be closed during the park construction. The amphitheater stage will be closed during construction. The portion of the site where the old jail annex was located, public restrooms will be off limits or unusable during the construction portion, and then a small portion of the parking lot. The attached map site plan shows the red areas which will be fenced off. You can see there that we are trying to keep as much parking available because I know a lot of people do use that parking lot. Some of the improvements, and sorry, the expected closure should be between May 15 and July 12 of 2024, if not sooner. Should we encounter any delays, we'll notify county administration. The park improvements, there's a lot. We're gonna have a new stage shelter and larger stage, 3 ADA compliant parking stalls, a new 5 to 12-year-old playground structure, a new ADA compliant play surface, 5 exercise stations, 2 musical instruments, a new ADA compliant sidewalk connecting Yosemite Avenue and 6th Street, new ADA compliant picnic tables, landscaping, irrigation, and miscellaneous lighting. Here you see an improvement plan delineating, showing kind of all the items that we discussed. We're really focusing on the center area. Eventually, where the existing pergola, that'll hopefully be a later phase, a future phase for construction that connects all 6th Street, Gateway, Yosemite. It kind of dissects us, but that gives you kind of an overview of the project. We're available for any questions. Oh, sorry, one more. I forgot. So this is kind of a renderings of the new play structure and the new shelter. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you. You know, I haven't seen a group wanting to make a presentation to be as excited as you guys are in a long time. I mean, you come right up, start right into the presentation, and you're ready to get going. So thank you. It is a very exciting project, and it's really going to enhance the first of many things in downtown Madera. So it's great to see this project start. So are there any questions of our team regarding this agenda item? Are there members of the public who have a comment? Seeing and hearing none, I'll bring the item back for action.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley?
Yes.
Supervisor Wamhaugh?
Yes.
Chairman Poitras?
Yes.
Vote passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great job. 6E.
6C, Public Works Department, Maintenance and Operations Division, discussion and consideration of entering into an agreement with MV Transportation in the amount of $15,728,315 to provide Madera County Connection Public Transit Services in Eastern Madera County, Chowchilla, Fairmead, Eastern Arcola, Lavina, and Riverton, with the transit fleet maintenance transition to county public works staff for fiscal year 2024 through 2031, and authorize the chairman to sign.
Can't hear you. Put the mic on.
I thought I was on. Sorry.
There you go.
Morning, Chair, board members. My name is Monty Cox. I'm the program manager for the transit program in Public Works. I have with me Bill Toller, who's the Deputy Public Works Director. The item before you is the bus operations and maintenance contract, the 7-year contract for a little over $15 million. It can be extended up to 3 years. The contract includes the operations of the county's transit services, which includes the MCC or Madera County Connection fixed routes serving eastern Madera County, Chowchilla, Fairmead, Easton, Arcola, Lavina, Riverton, Madera Ranchos, and Valley Children's Hospital. Also includes the demand response services of the senior bus and medical escort serving seniors and disabled residents in eastern Madera County. It also includes the dial-a-ride services that are operated by the county in county areas surrounding the city of Madera and Chowchilla. The previous contract was for 5 years and was with the Fresno County Economic Opportunity or Fresno Economic Opportunities Commission, and it ends on June 30th. Staff conducted a competitive request for proposals process, which resulted in the receipt of 3 proposals. A selection committee consisting of staff, our consultant, Ms. Moy, Ellen Moy, and representative from the Madera County Transportation Commission evaluated the proposals, conducted interviews with the top 2 firms, requested best and final offers, and the result was the recommendation before you. MV Transportation has vast experience operating similar services throughout the state of California and the country, including the city of Madera, right next door, who recently extended their contract. MV will be operating the services from the county yard on Almond Avenue. One significant difference from the previous contract is that the vehicle maintenance will be operated by county staff. We pulled that out in order to make this contract more competitive, which it ended up working. Funding for the transit program comes from various federal and state dedicated transportation funds that are dedicated at their source. Staff recommends the approval of the contract with MV Transportation. Representatives of MV, Keith Everidge, who's the VP of Business Development, and Peter Edwards, the Regional VP, are in our audience and available to answer any questions, as are we. We recommend approval of this contract.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Are there any questions regarding this contract from any of my colleagues? Supervisor?
Yes. What was the reason the current operator chose not to put in for the extension?
I can only speculate because they did not tell me directly. We anticipated a proposal from them right up to the end, but I do believe there was some concern. Their organization is a nonprofit that focuses primarily on Fresno County and receives quite a bit of their funding, especially in transportation, for their transportation program from Madera or from Fresno County. And so I believe some of their representatives of their funding sources probably kind of frowned a little bit on them doing work business in Madera County without, and they did it for 5 years. But going forward, I think that was one of the reasons that they chose not to.
Great. And I know MV operated in Fresno, or still does operate in Fresno, and received a lot of good feedback from their operations there as well. So you entertaining a motion?
After public comment. Yes.
You mentioned that the maintenance, the vehicle maintenance is pulled and the county will be doing that part of the program. What about the fuel?
The fuel, the county has, that has been a pass-through expense since day one. So
Okay. So it's already
the
passed
contractor pays for it and then passes it through on their invoice on a monthly basis,
Okay.
whatever it is. So it's not a factor.
One other question, Mr. Chairman, the maintenance yard folks down there, how many are we looking at adding additional staff as a result of taking this new endeavor on?
Yeah, we've been in communication with them since this was envisioned about a year ago. They feel they are fully or adequately staffed. to take on our 13 vehicles on top of their 100 and some odd vehicles that they already maintain. They've indicated that they can handle this.
Right, thank you.
Gearing up for it.
Very good. Thank you. If there's no questions, or further questions, my colleagues, are there any members of the public who have any comments this time? Seeing and hearing none, we'll bring the item back for action.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Wamhaugh,
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers,
Yes.
Supervisor McCully,
Yes.
Chairman Poitras.
Yes.
Vote passes 4-0.
Very good.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. 6F.
Board of Directors, Special Districts, Maintenance Districts, and County Service Area, Public Works Department, Engineering Services Division. 2024 Maintenance District, Cape Seals. Discussion and consideration of entering into an agreement with Pave Coatings Company in the amount of $3,041,520 for the construction of the 2024 Maintenance District Cape Seals and to authorize the chairman to sign. Discussion and consideration of approval to authorize the road commissioner or his designee to issue a notice to proceed in accordance with the provisions in the contract. Discussion and consideration of approval to authorize the auditor controller to issue payments for contingencies up to 10% of the contract award amount per established county policy. Discussion and consideration of approval to authorize the road commissioner or his designee to solely issue and approve contract change orders in accordance with the Public Contract Code, not to exceed authorized contingencies.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board, Philip Toller with your Public Works Department. As we continue to prioritize the maintenance of our infrastructure, I am pleased to present this Cape Seal contract for your consideration today. The item before you is a contract with Pavement Coating Company for asphalt surface treatments in various districts throughout the county. The total contract amount is just over $3 million and will cover approximately 43 miles of roads within these districts. A Cape Seal is a proven method for pavement preservation that combines the benefits of chip sealing and slurry sealing. The process involves applying multiple layers of asphalt and aggregate followed by a slurry seal, creating a protective barrier against the elements and minimizing surface distresses such as cracking and rutting. By implementing Cape Seals on these roads, we can effectively extend the service life and reduce the need for costly repairs and replacements in the future. The department advertised the project on March 6th and opened bids on March 27th. Of the 4 bids received, Pavement Coatings was determined to be the lowest with a total bid amount of $3,041,520. The proposed contract outlines the scope of work, selection of roads, the application process, and quality assurance measures. Approval of this item will have no impact on the general fund nor the county's road fund. The total cost of this contract will be funded by the respective districts in which the work is to be performed and Measure T funds. Investing in this type of treatment aligns with our commitment to safe and reliable infrastructure, and it represents a proactive approach to asset management that can yield significant savings over the long term. With that, staff recommends approval of this contract, and I'm available should your board have any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions of Phil? Yes.
Yes, thank you, Chair. What's the total amount of Measure T dollars being used in comparison with the?
So the total amount of Measure T dollars that is being applied toward this contract is $1.25 million, just over 1.2.
Okay. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Supervisor.
Yeah, Phil, in layman's terms, doing this type of sealing, how much money do we save, or what is the real benefit to this type of activity versus other things that we would normally do?
Sure. Well, as you know, these are small communities, maintenance districts that are generally funded through their own annual assessments. So this is the culmination of me working and programming with HOAs for a long time, saving up money, walking roads, meeting with them, and prioritizing their issues. In a perfect world, some of these roads that are 30 years old that could use a mill and fill, you know, you're looking at $1 million a mile, whereas this can, it does correct a lot of distresses and extends the life of the road they have for a fraction of the price. So Cape Seal, on average, you're looking at probably, depending on the location and the amount of where they got to truck the material, probably about $6.50 a square yard.
What does that equate to per mile or longevity of a particular road versus a trying to learn all the
Longevity-
acronyms, a mill and fill?
Longevity, I mean, so you're adding multiple layers to it. So you're thickening the structural section, which many of these districts weren't built to road standards that we have today. They lack base material. They're real thin on the asphalt and it's destroyed. This will add structural section. Longevity, depending on the road you're putting it on, could be another 10 years. And you know, you're probably on a mile of road, an average mile of road, you're probably maybe $100,000, depending on the location.
So theoretically, $100,000 versus $1 million, you're adding 10 years versus redoing the entire road.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Are there any members of the public who have a comment regarding this item? Seeing and hearing none, we'll bring it back to the board for action.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Wampa?
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley?
Yes.
Chairman Poitras?
Yes.
Vote passes 4-0.
Thank you. Move on to pending legislation. We have 3 items. We'll start off with 7A.
County Administration Department, discussion and consideration to ratify a letter of opposition to State Bill 1057 as introduced by Senator Mihavar, which would repurpose and reprioritize new processes, therefore redirecting the expenditures of critical juvenile justice investments.
Thank you. Good morning again, Board and Chairman Jay Varney, County CAO. The first letter, 7A, is a request to ratify a letter that we had the chairman sign as we were under the belief that it was possible. Although this item was on suspense, it was also listed for hearing yesterday. So we needed to get it out prior to your board meeting today. Basically, SB 1057 does a number of things that different members of the legislature have tried to do over the past 3 to 4 years, all of which are not good in the long term for the expenditures on juvenile justice investments within our county.
Okay, very good. Any questions of Jay regarding this item? Any members of the public? We'll bring it back to the board for action.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor McCauley?
Yes.
Supervisor Wampa?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Chairman Poitras?
Yes.
Vote passes 4-0.
Thank you. 7B.
7B, County Administration Department, discussion and consideration to authorize a letter of opposition to Assembly Bill 2882 as introduced by Member McCarty to amend the composition of the Local Community Corrections Partnership and CCP Executive Committee.
Thank you. This one is directed to the Assembly Appropriations Committee because that's where the bill is on suspense. This one in particular would deal with changing the makeup of the CCP Executive Committee and the local CCP. While it may be well intended, it actually demands certain changes, many of which aren't able to be accomplished and actually work to the detriment of the CCP, which in our area does a pretty good job of engaging non-governmental entities to assist with accomplishing its mission under the 2011 realignment.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions of Jay regarding this item? Are there any members of the public who have a question or comment? Seeing and hearing none, I'll bring it back to the board for action.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor McCauley,
Yes.
Supervisor Wamhaugh,
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers,
Yes.
Chairman Poitras.
Yes.
Vote passes 4-0.
And thanks to Chief Childers for being here in case you had any deep technical questions that were over my head.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. 7C, this is the item that we added on to the agenda due to timing.
7C is a letter of opposition directed to Carolyn Minivar and Dr. Akila Webb, both of which chair the respective Senate and Assembly Budget Committees. It was drafted by Public Health Director Sarah Boss and your Public Health Officer, Dr. Simon Paul, and it has to do with opposition to removing $300 million from the general fund futures of public health investments in the proposed May revise as put forth by the governor. Basically, their concern is that during COVID, we had to ramp things way up. So they ramped things up, and now that there's no COVID, they want to take all the money back away. That's probably not the wisest strategy. However, there hasn't been any discussion on any kind of middle ground. It's only been to take the full $300 million. So they were requesting the board's support on forwarding this letter to the two budget and finance committees.
Very good. Thank you. Are there any questions of Jay regarding this item? Are there any members of the public who have a comment? Seeing and hearing none, I'll bring the item back for action.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor McCauley,
Yes.
Supervisor Wamhaugh,
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers,
Yes.
Chairman Poitras.
Yes.
Vote passes 4-0.
Thank you. Moving on to supervisor and staff reports. I'll start to my right. Supervisor Wamhaugh.
This upcoming Saturday, we have the 31st annual Flatlanders Parade in Madera Ranchos. It's going to be a little different. It's always been on Avenue 12. This year, it's going to be on Road 36, just east of Liberty High School. Starts at 10 a.m. Get there early for parking and getting set up because we're going to start the parade promptly at 10. And we have our Peace Officer Memorial, which you already mentioned. I will also be attending, and I will be absent next week. I'll be attending ICSC conference, retail conference, trying to bring back some retail establishments to our area, especially to our growing southeastern Madera County area, and see what we can do to economically grow our county.
Very good. Looking forward to that. The only thing I have to report is last week at our Calvan's authority meeting, I was elected chair, and it's a great honor. I think, no, it is. It's a great authority in terms of what services provided, and if my colleagues are interested, I'd like to. We'll have maybe during the summer we'll bring somebody from Calvan's executive director to go into more detail about operations and how it benefits our valley, our workforce, our businesses, and Madera County. Thank you.
Nothing to report.
Okay, Supervisor Rogers.
No, nothing to report.
Right. Mr. Varney.
Dennis mentioned the water issue at the Courthouse Museum. We're aware that we've been working on that. Part of the issue is that I guess in a brilliant idea 50 years ago, the water service runs underneath those beautiful steps on the front of the courthouse. So we are looking at what we can do there to either repair or to replace the direction that it actually goes into the building. And maybe at some point we'll have Janelle come tell you about the paranormal activity when they were trying to find the undergrounds there in front of the steps. Can't confirm that, but the guy with the headphones with the scanner was hearing voices. So, and it wasn't in his head because someone else put on the earphones
Wow.
and they could hear it too.
Well,
Maybe it's
stay-
just a bad AM radio signal.
Well, stay tuned. Very good. Council,
I have no report. Thank you, Chair.
all right, clerk of the board.
Nothing to report. Thank you.
Thank you. We will be going back into closed session. And if I don't talk to the rest of you here again at noon, we have the Law Enforcement Memorial at Courthouse Park. We're back from closed session. Council, is there any reportable action?
Chairman, there is no reportable action from the closed session. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. And everybody have a great rest of the day.